Starting lineup: Jax, Wukong, Aurora, Caitlyn, Lux. Up against Cho'Gath, Warwick, Diana, Jinx, Morgana. Rating the picks in a casual game: Jax, we're gonna say a 9, and you can really see it very clearly when he's up against Cho'Gath. Why Jax would be a 10 in the mid. Although his kit is unbelievable, he's a complete monster. Um, he's one of the better picks you could possibly make. He focuses, despite that, a little bit too much on pure attack speed for my personal taste to have as a top. It's a 9. My ideal top primarily builds up resistances and health, much more so than offense. The average team is already going to have more than enough offense, more than enough wild aggressors. Um, and, as great as Jax is, as we will see in this game, even Jax systematically has to run away from Cho'Gath, just like everybody else. Aurora is a mid, a 6 for casual games. Aurora is an individual who primarily finds great love in the pros because of her ability to cast a field with her ultimate that affects every enemy. These all open, all out, organized team fights are much less prevalent in casual play because people don't trust each other and people don't know how to coordinate. So the true use of Aurora is lost on casual. Caitlyn, 10 out of 10. Caitlyn is the best shooter for casual games. Uh, Safe takedowns, easy mechanics, great results. You can actually afford to build her like a weapon, hopefully with a bit of cooldown reduction. Lux as a support, a 6. A 5 out of 10 because it is not really a support, but we'll give it an extra point because it frequently works, at least to some degree. Cho'Gath on the other theme as a top. Cho'Gath is a 10 out of 10 and the best top laner in the video game. I think this may be my second time that I've ever defeated a team with Cho'Gath on it. Because he essentially, like, even in this game, like in any other game, if you allow him to exist for too long, what just happens is he becomes so enormous that everybody constantly runs away from him. Because by the time that you get him down and kill him, everything else will have collapsed. So every time you see him, you have to run, you can't fight, because if you get caught up in a fight with him, you'll be fighting him forever, and eventually probably die. Um, Warwick as a jungle, for a casual game, that's an 8. Diana is... Well, it's my videos, right? We're gonna say a 0 in my videos. A realistic rating would probably be a 3, but we'll give it a 0 because it's me. Jinx as a shooter, a 5. Almost never works. Morgana as a support, I'll give it a 7 because it's not a support, but it almost always works, so we'll give it +2. That's a 5 out of 10 +2. Yeah, a bit of stereotyping here when we're looking around. Very strange community that League has compared to many other games, right? You would think female students, female young people of some kind you would mainly find in like blockbuster games like Black Myth Wukong, um, etc. You would mostly find in blockbuster games like Elden Ring, maybe playing Grand Theft Auto, if they play any video games at all. No, for some bizarre reason, an unusual large amount of women are attracted to this hyper-toxic, hyper-competitive game we call League of Legends. You see here, in all likelihood, this mid was a woman. See here, Leia Maxin. So this is in all likelihood also a young. Then, as far as the final stereotype is concerned, we have Jinx here, who, based on the name, we can assume is a very young person. Which does, as we will see, impact the rest of the game. Moving on. And as Warwick gets the alert here that the dragon has spawned, he's gonna come down here. And he has no idea that I'm in here because I used my second spell to get in here instead of going through the river, in which case the little bug would have allowed him to detect me. And now we're gonna get a very special thing here. This is the first time this has ever happened to me. Somebody using flash in this aggressive manner. It's not really, you know, the most original thing in the world, but I'd never seen it before. I had never seen somebody flashing through walls to get at me like that before. That's the first play. And for the second play of the game, we're going to see this futile exchange between Cho'Gath and Jax here on Jax's part. And it will be the first of a great many beatdowns that will ensue. Because fundamentally, as great as Jax is, it's just impossible to outlast Cho'Gath. And it's gotta be one of the most daunting things to see in the starting menu that you're going up against him. And for the third play of the game, almost the entirety of red and blue are going to meet around the bottom lane tower here. There's going to be a large-scale team fight here, where both me and the enemy tank get a double kill. That's the third play. And for the fourth play of the game, we're gonna follow Jax here, who's gonna rack up a couple of kills in an astonishingly short amount of time. Changing the pace and the direction of the game here. Which then ended up impacting the state of the enemy towers permanently. That's the fourth play. For the fifth play of the game, I'm going to end up defending the last remains of the mid lane tower here. I'm going to come up through the jungle. Over to where Jax is battling Warwick. And that is what a Jax looks like, who's properly built, who gets jumped by Warwick with his ultimate up, by the way. This is how powerful Jax is. That's what you look like after you get jumped by Warwick. And this is a crucial push here. Jinx is gonna have the tactical insight to sneak in and surround us here with a clever ambush. And I'm gonna crawl on down here, knock out a third individual, which will then leave a good portion of their base defenseless. That's the fifth play. Taking a look at the scoreboard here, very correct way to build Jax. You make use of his extremely beautiful abilities by way of his of increasing his attack speed. The downside to that is that you get a very aggressive person. It's now that I think of it, it is like a direct brother to Yasuo when you think about it. You know, almost mandatory to increase his attack speed. You then end up in a situation where you put almost everything into attack speed and you have not a very tanky individual left who still has amazing powers. Liandry is the correct choice here. I can't really criticize too much here. Honestly, this isn't too bad. What you will find, however, you see this has health on it, this has health on it, this has health on it. Take it from me, because this game is can get quite micromanagement and quite difficult. That's why it's not per se the best game to jump into as a complete, one-off. This this constantly increasing of the health pool, take it from an individual who played Mundo for a considerable amount of time and fanatically try to just increase health alone. What I really came to find was that the very early levels of stacking armor and magic resistance are absolutely crucial, and they will absolutely make you look like a fool if you don't. That's why you see it's no coincidence I've kind of given up on Heartsteel, because in order for it to be functional, you have to use it so early in game, and I can really not do without that armor. And so, to make a long story short, what am I saying here is a better option would have been the Hourglass. While this is actually unfortunate for this individual, because this individual at least tried apparently, much to my surprise, this individual tried apparently to build something that was stable and something that was responsible and not some kind of all-out maniac of an attack monster. But but to do that correctly, you should look at items like Zaraya's Hourglass early. Why? Because the first couple of units of armor that you add are extremely crucial. right? We have here the story again of staying alive with the boots of swiftness, right? As Caitlyn, this is not good. This is not a good score because Caitlyn has really more options than other people to stay out of range. You have to kind of get in character. If you're playing Caitlyn, you cannot be super heroic diving in to try to rescue everything. That's not Caitlyn. That's not Caitlyn. You know, Caitlyn kind of plays like Talon in that, like, kind of plays like Kha'Zix in many ways, in that you have to kind of be selfish. It's okay to be selfish with Caitlyn. If you start jumping in the middle of everything, that's not a good idea here. Got here zero deaths, supposedly Dutch boy here. Zero deaths on the greatest tank in casual games, the greatest top laner as casual in casual games, and perhaps the greatest all-around character for casuals in the video game. If you want to go and win a bunch of games, go play Shogat. Go play Shogat. I would think he's got to be the best character for casuals. If you have Cho'Gath on your team, you're probably not gonna lose against a bunch of amateurs. We see this item here striking up some popularity. Heals and shields on you are increased by 25%. Do you have that many shields? Okay, I guess you do have a lot of, or a decent amount of heals. But it's goofy to see people, in such great worship of weaponry, whereas then, I mean, here you could actually realistically go weaponry. One of the best items against magic resistance or against magic attacks is in fact a weapon. So, you might want to get that figured out instead of like suddenly going super, boring tank mode here. Does this add up? You can count at home. I don't know. Diana being put in her proper place, always a positive for me. And then here we have Dark Nemesis, who is a very old and wise man. Um, yeah, what do you want me to say here? This individual apparently stole from the jungler, was buying. In order to buy this item, you have to have smite, so had put smite on her bar. Went down in the top, went down in the bottom lane, and then presumably started jungling. For the record, by the way, in case you're wondering, I've seen now 3 jungling jinxes in the last 10 days. 3 people jungled on Jinx in the last 10 days. Yeah, and then you have this person who was a bit of a nihilist, but knew what they were doing. And you see here the pro move, you go Zanya. It's not Zarya, excuse me, it's Zanya. So why do you go Zanya? Because I get the freakish impression consistently that armor matters more early on. If you're not gonna stack basic armor, you're gonna have a tough time. You want to get a little bit in there. You don't have to do like massive amounts, but a little bit of armor on top. Let's get to it.
My place is at the top. journey's only beginning. Who questions my ability? Show me the path. Adapt to all situations. Every mistake is a lesson. I got this.
First blood.
Never settle for second. My place is at the top. Bring me a real challenge. My journey's only beginning. Show me the path. Is that all they've got? Who questions my ability? Every mistake is a lesson. Adapt to all situations. place is at the top. My journey's only beginning.
Has slain an enemy.
Show me the path. Who questions my ability?
An ally has been slain. Killing spree.
You got it.
God, man. Why? What did I do
Your team
in past games to get fucking stuck with this Aurora type of person? It's like, log off. If you don't want to play, log off.
turret plating will soon fall. An enemy has been slain.
My journey's only beginning.
Your team has destroyed a turret. An ally has been slain.
My place is at the top. Just try to stop me.
Enemy killing spree.
And that's how it starts. I don't know if I've ever beaten Shogat ever. It's always just a matter of time.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Bring me a real challenge. Every mistake is a lesson.
Enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Is that all we got?
Stupid bug always. Startles me. I'm always gonna do it mid from now, cause you end up in half of the game just running mid.
Adapt to all situations.
Whoa. Whoa.
Enemy killing spree. Your turret has been destroyed.
You got it.
Enemy rampage.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to deposit it or it won't. If I don't get rid of it, it's not going to last. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose the Herald.
My journey's only beginning. Bring me a real challenge.
No. The 100,000th time that I regret staying with the Herald. Never worth it.
Every mistake is a lesson.
Your team has destroyed a turret. An enemy is dominating. Enemy rampage.
My ability.
An enemy has been slain.
My place is at the
Enemy
top.
killing spree.
My journey's only beginning.
Shut down. Enemy rampage.
I got this.
Rampage. Shut down.
You got it. Bring me a real challenge.
An enemy is dominating.
Every mistake is a lesson. Who questions my ability?
Fancy a treat?
Adapt to all situations.
You have slain an enemy. Enemy double kill. An ally has been slain.
Show me the path. My place is at the top.
An ally has been slain.
My journey's only beginning.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Bring me a real challenge.
Who has been slain?
Who questions my ability? Every mistake is a lesson. Show me the path. Adapt to all situations.
An ally has been
My
slain.
journey's only beginning.
Enemy killing spree.
Never settle for second. My place is at the top. You got it.
Unstoppable. Double kill.
Bring me a real challenge.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Who questions my ability?
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Just try to stop.
Ally has been slain.
Show me the path.
Godlike.
Adapt to all situations. Never settle for second.
That's a little bit far-fetched just to get me here. Really, you took the tower away? That's a little... I mean, all that just to get me? Okay.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor. Your turret has been destroyed.
There is nobody on this team that I believe in.
An enemy.
Nobody. There's nobody where I say that if I dive in, somebody's gonna follow me. Nobody.
An ally has been slain.
Is that all they've got?
Slain an enemy.
My journey's only beginning.
Down.
Bring me a real challenge.
Your team has destroyed a turret. You have slain an enemy. The enemy's inhibitor restarted. The enemy's inhibitor has respawned.
Who questions my ability?
Enemy killing spree.
I got this. Adapt to all situations.
The enemy's inhibitor is respawning soon.
My journey.
Shut down. The enemy's inhibitor is respawning.
Never settle for second.
An ally has been slain. Your team has destroyed. An enemy has been slain.
Bring me a real challenge. You got it. Who questions my ability?
An ally has been slain.
Show me the path. Adapt to all situations.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor. Shut down. Enemy double kill. The enemy's inhibitor is respawning soon. An enemy has been slain. The enemy's inhibitor has respawned.
Every mistake is a lesson. My place is at the
An
top.
enemy has been slain.
My journey's only beginning.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor. Your team has destroyed a turret.